Hi, I have now shot 2 rolls of this on this. And my basis for this video is everything I learned on my first roll of film. I realize I'm no expert, but I also realize that there's a lot of things that are honestly common sense to the experts that was not common sense to me and that I learned and may help a beginner learn from a beginner. Comprehensive guide timeline of learning on film. I already did one video about my film camera if you guys want to catch up and watch that. If you have any questions about that one. My very first number one thing that I learned that I was honestly shocked by is if you have a question, ask someone. Duh, but like I make some videos on tech and on digital photography occasionally, and I get a lot of typically people with an older man as their profile picture talking down at me or acting like I'm stupid because they don't know everything, and I just assumed that the film world would be the same. But literally everyone that I have interacted with in film and that has taught me something about film has actually been really, really nice. Anytime I had a question, I was able to ask it and I was able to get an answer. There was only one time with misunderstanding, and I'll get to that later because that's a long thing. But places I asked, I knew a kid from my high school who shoots on film a lot. He answered a few questions for me. I know a few influencers, YouTubers, podcasters that live in my area, and I DM them asking where they get their film developed, and I actually got answers from a few of them. I have just searched in the YouTube search bar and I found people. And when I posted my own film video, I got a few people answering questions that I had in that video, and they're all really, really nice. But this video is answering all those questions that I had. If you have any more, though, you can comment down below. Acquiring camera and film. So if you'll see in my video, I have a few film cameras. I've only shot in this one. This is the one I feel safest to shoot on. Before you go out and search for a film camera to buy, ask your older relatives, maybe even not older, just ask your relatives if they have any sitting in the back of their closet, because my mom had 4 sitting in the back of her closet, and that's where I got this one. Film cameras can range anywhere from like $20 to like thousands of dollars, and if you can save even the $20, I think it's definitely worth it. And it's just like cute. Like my mom sent me some of the pictures that she's taken on this film camera, and it just feels like a little family heirloom. There are manual and point and shoot cameras, so keep that in mind when you're looking for which one to purchase. I'm planning on trying a roll of film on this one when I get a little bit less nervous and comparing the two from my personal experience. And then Portra 400, I will have where I got it linked down below. I have the 5 rolls in a pack, and they are each 36. That has been the easiest and best for me to work with. And then loading and unloading the camera. I found the best video for Pentax. You can probably watch it if you have a different camera, but it definitely works for Pentax K1000. I watched it 5 times before loading my film. I watched it while I was loading my film. I watched it 5 times before unloading my film. And I watched it while I was unloading my film. And I watched it again 5 times more for the second and unloading and loading time. One thing that I feel like an idiot about that I didn't understand in that video is Portra is going to, let me go to my negatives. Okay, so film cameras and companies have been around for a long time and they know what they're doing. I just had the stupidest question though. When you load your film, they're gonna have 4 squares that are nothing on them, because you're going to advance it twice and you're going to close the back and then you're going to advance it twice more. And the dial itself actually has 2 notches before 0 that you're going to advance just to get the film stuck in there. You're not wasting any frames like I thought I was. I don't know if that's a stupid thing, but I was really concerned. No, you're not wasting frames when you're filling it. So my first roll, I got all 36 of 36 of my photos back. In my second roll, I only got 34 of 36 because I had a light metering issue. There's a few simple things I learned that might fix your light meter if it's not too much of an issue. Like you can change the battery. That did not work for me. What worked for me was pointing it at the sun. So my light meter was stuck in the middle, which normally in the middle is where you're going to want to be. But mine was stuck in the middle until I pointed it at a very bright light source. Like my phone flashlight didn't work, but the sun worked. But I did lose 2 frames before realizing. When my light meter broke, I took it into the shop. That was when I had the misunderstanding. I brought it to him and I was like, hi, my light meter is stuck in the middle. And he was like, So when your light meter's in the middle, that means you're like, you got the shot, like it's good. And I was like, no, like even when I changed the aperture and everything, like it's still stuck in the middle. And he's like, oh. I'm scared he just thought I was like a dumb girl that just walked in and didn't understand anything, but that's fine because I was. Yeah, I believe this is the negative frame for the photo that didn't turn out. It was horribly overexposed because I didn't know my light meter was broken. And after that is when I taught myself a few things. Number one, the Sunny 16 rule. It is just a foolproof way of how to expose and like where to put your aperture and everything so that it's at least mostly right. If you don't trust the Sunny 16 rule or what you've learned, you can also buy an external light meter. There are apps on your phone, but if you want the most accurate, there are external light meters. I will list one down below that I've heard other people recommend. The other thing that taught me is to learn what you like to shoot at, not just the aperture you'll put at for this like certain situation, but if you like to shoot for a certain look. Because honestly, when I first got my camera, I expected it to kind of look like a disposable, a lot more grain and everything, and I was kind of surprised how great quality it was. But I figured out I really like shooting in midday broad daylight, which I think is kind of a photography no-no, but I like it for memories and I just like it for how I like it to turn out. For example, here are some iPhone photos versus the film photos taken same location, same daylight. And I like how the film photos turned out, but I don't like how it looked on my iPhone. This photo I took in a dimly lit bathroom. It looks good on my iPhone, it looks super grainy on the film camera. I like the memory of it again, but it definitely looks better on my iPhone in this case. These were in golden hour and I thought they were like really perfect. I really like that. And then this was midday, but it was a gloomy day. I think keeping track of what time you shoot, what your settings are and everything can help you learn. I actually originally really struggle with camera settings. I kind of live on the auto settings of my video camera, and whenever I'm shooting something on a digital camera, I just rely on my boyfriend because he knows how to set everything up. And for whatever reason, something on a film camera clicked that doesn't click on a digital camera with me, and it's helped me learn a lot more. Another thing that I also learned is film is different than digital in the aspect that in digital, you may want to underexpose to save your shadows. In film, if you're going to do either way, you might want to overexpose because you can't get the brightness back. The most important thing that I learned about getting film developed is always go to a small local camera store before you go to any big chain. Don't go to Walgreens, don't go to Walmart, don't go to Target, don't go to CVS. Go to a camera store. Unfortunately, a lot of the chain stores, like all the ones I just listed, don't know how to properly develop film. They're more likely to mess it up, and also just support your local camera shops. It's really nice. If you are in the Arizona, Phoenix, Tempe, East Valley area, I go to Tempe Camera. They're super nice there. I told the girl that it was my first time ever getting film developed, and she walked me through all the questions. What I ask for when I go in is I say I have 35mm, I hand them the film, I say I just want it scanned, and then I get it scanned to a USB. The USB costs about $8, but you can bring in your own, or you can just bring in the one they gave you last time to reuse. Saves a lot of money. So total with the USB, it's $24. And also if you're in the middle of nowhere, you can always send film into certain labs. A lot of labs do take shipments, and then they'll ship it back to you. It just costs a little bit of extra money. Patience. I learned patience. So in my head I was thinking sometimes when I go out somewhere and I take photos just on my iPhone, I will take like 50 and choose from that. And I figured, okay, so I'm going to want 36 roll of film. But I realized that I don't want to waste film on the same spot for the same photo like I would on my iPhone. So it took me almost a month to fill up my first roll of film. And it took me about another month for my next roll of film. And then I also had to wait a few days. There's something really different about how you're not going to get the photo right away, but it is 10 times more satisfying when you finally get them developed and you finally are able to pull them up and look at them. It's a lot more satisfying than just any other photo that I've ever had. The 36 that I bought is a better deal than the 24, but if you need a roll finished and developed fast, maybe you only need the 24. That's something I still don't know that much about. If you have advice on what kind of size to get, you should comment down below. Film does expire, so keep your film in the fridge to keep it good longer. This expires October of 2021, but just to be safe, I'm keeping it in the fridge. For the most part, I like to capture just my life moments and important days to me on film, but I also use Pinterest, and I follow several film photographers on Instagram to get inspiration for if I want to do something more photo shooty. And the last thing that I learned, which I think I'm taking more as personal advice, is don't take it too seriously. I took it super seriously. I wanted every photo that I took to be like the most postable, cute Instagram photo ever. And I realized it doesn't have to be that. My mom took a picture of me while I was making a double chin at my dog as I was trying to get him to look at the camera. I thought I was gonna hate it. I thought I was gonna hate her for it. But I think it's kind of cute. And I don't need to post everything. I can just have things for memories. Yeah, I think film is an art form that should be around for ever. It's really fun. It's really fun to learn from other people. I've asked my mom for tips. I've asked other adults that I know that had film cameras and they're my age for tips, and it's really fun hearing about their stories and hearing from them. Let me know what else you want to see from me. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.
Heard you say I'm not the baddest, but you lied. It ain't my fault.